Is this watt-saving charger the best charger out there? Don't go running away. Stay tuned. Good day everyone, Garage King here, and today I'm going to review the watt-saving US10 EV charger, and we're going to install it. Now this is a level 2, 240 volt, 9600 watt charger, so 40 amps, and it's got a J1772 connector, so it will fit all electrical vehicles. Now what's also really cool is it's got these RFID cards, so no one's going to be stealing your hydro, and we'll talk about those later. I'll show you how they work. Now this thing is available in 4 colors, so it's available in white, blue, black, and purple. And first thing, when I opened the box, I did notice that it is very high quality and super shiny. It's got like a piano finish on it. As for the connector, you have 2 choices. You can specify a NEMA 650 or a NEMA 1450. So it really is your choice. And one of the best things about this, you can install it outside. It is waterproof. Now, one of the first things I noticed when unboxing it is how thick the cables were. You can see here they're almost 21 millimeters, so 20.77 millimeters. Now, I do have a Tesla wall connector, and if we go outside, I'll measure them right here, and you can see they're quite a bit thinner. That's right. They're only just over 14 millimeters, so quite a difference. I was really impressed with the watt saving for that. Now, the watt savings charger does come with a long cord, almost 25 feet long, and a very high quality cable holder that you don't have to buy separately. All right, so I want to install the watt savings charger on the wall right there. I'm going to run it right into the 100 amp panel box. If we take a quick look at the manual, we can see if we're using a 1450 outlet, we want to make sure the ground pin is facing up. I'm going to be installing a 650 outlet. And you know what? I'll make sure that the ground pin is up, even though it doesn't say in the manual. We'll make sure they both just face the same way. Now, important, we have to make sure we have a 50 amp circuit. So I went to the local hardware store and I bought a 50 amp circuit breaker. I also bought 6 gauge wire that will handle 55 amps, so it exceeds that of our circuit, so that's good. And I'm gonna have to strip that because I'll be running it inside this conduit and then attaching it to this plug right here. So the manual tells us to find the wall stud nearest to the NEMA outlet and draw a vertical line, and then place it near the outlet and make sure the cable is slightly curved and is not stretched. So we don't want that cable stretched at all. So here is our mount. We're gonna mount it about here. You do get a bunch of wall anchors, so that's really good. But because I'll be using the stud, at least for half of it, I don't need wall anchors because I'll be going right into the stud. Now it is important to note that there is a set screw. So depending where you mount it, you have to be able to get into the side right there for the set screw. And the reason for that is once you're done, you'll place the set screw in the side here. And the whole reason for that is so it doesn't get bumped off the wall. It will lock the unit into place. Now we want to have a quality job and we want it level. So of course we're going to use a level. And you can see here I have this sort of like a punch type tool, and I'm just making the mark so I know exactly where to drill. And let me know what you think of this sound in the background. Sometimes I cut out the sound and sometimes I leave it in. All right, time to mount it. All we got to do is make sure it slides securely into the bracket, and then don't forget that set screw. And now that we have it mounted, you can see right there, we got our cable on the floor. Obviously you don't want to have the cable on the floor, so we have this nice hanger, and I must say it's nice. It's heavy duty steel and very, very high quality, so it's definitely not going to bend. So now we want to determine where we're going to run our line. How close do we want it? There. Who knows where we want it? We obviously have a stud right here because we have 2 drywall sheets that are joining. So let's take advantage and use that stud because you know what? Obviously going into wood is going to provide a lot more support than just using a drywall anchor. So that's what I'm going to do. So again, I have my little pick here. I'm going to mark my area and then I'm going to drill. I have to do 1 anchor, and actually, believe it or not, I hit a stud on both of the other screws. So that worked out really, really well. And now all we're going to do is twist it up here just like this. And there you go. Voila. It is done. It is mounted and hung on the wall. All too easy. But now what we have to do is we actually have to hook up the electrical power supply. So we're going to take out our NEMA 650 plug and I'm going to line it up on the wall. Now, obviously, if I already had a plug on the wall, then I would be lining up the watt savings charger, but I just felt it would be easier to do it this way. This way I could mount the charger exactly where I wanted it, and then I could mount the plug. So now comes the scary part. Well, it's not really that scary, but I guess it's a little bit harder. We have to strip our wire. So we're stripping our 6-gauge wire, and unfortunately at the store, all they had was 6-3 wire, and I only need 6-2. I just need 2 conductors. I don't need 3 conductors, so it's better for me just to strip it, and then this way I can take the neutral out and just use the red and the black. Plus this way, when I run it through the conduit, we don't have to worry because our wire is stripped. Now the code does allow you to run unstripped wire through conduit, but there are certain restrictions, so please check with your local building codes. Now I don't know if you've caught it there, but I did switch off the main breaker and I actually checked it with a multimeter, so make sure that your main breaker's off, because the last thing you want to be doing is working in your panel box and get zapped, because it's probably going to hurt. So now what I'm doing is I'm just putting the wires in here. You can see they are pushed through the conduit. We're just going to do up our connections here. There's only 3. There's just the red, the black, and the ground. That's it. Then we'll put the front of our box back on, just like so. I'm making it look too easy. We'll go to our panel box, make sure our ground is nice and secure. Pop in our 50 amp breaker. Now make sure you get the correct breaker for your panel box, because there are different breakers depending on what panel box you do have. And then it's just a matter of attaching the black and the red wire to your breaker, putting the front cover back on, and flicking the switch for your power. Okay, now this is the exciting part. We're gonna plug it in and see what happens. There we go, I just plugged it in. All right, and it is on. Now, hopefully you don't think it actually makes that sound, because it doesn't actually make that sound. That was just a video effect. All right, so now that we got our watt-saving charger installed, we can grab the connector and let's see how it's going to charge the car. Now keep in mind, this is a J1772 connector that comes on it, so we'll just have to put our Tesla adapter on it. All right, so we have our adapter. So we're just going to click that on, just like so, and we're going to plug it into the car. We have a green light and it is charging. And if we look at the watt saving, we can see we have a flashing green light there. So it is in fact charging. Now say you don't want your watt saving charger to charge every time you just plug it in, because what if, someone's stealing your hydro or something like that. So they do have these really cool RFID cards. So let's go activate one. We're gonna walk right over here and you will see there is a reset button on the side. We're gonna hold this reset button until it turns orange. So that should turn orange. We're just gonna keep holding it. And there you go, it just turned orange. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to hold our card right where it says card there. We're just gonna hold this right there until it turns purple. And you know what? It did just turn purple. So now our card should be matched. All right, let's get our charging cable. Like so. There we go. We have lots of cable with this thing. Let's plug it in. And we are blue, and we are not charging. So that is a good thing. No one's going to steal my hydro. So let's grab one of our little RFID cards. Let's walk over here to the charger, just like so. You can see there it's blue. I'm going to touch right here. And there you go. We are charging. Now, an important question is how fast can it charge? Because you definitely don't want it taking 24 hours. I mean, maybe you do if you're just trickle charging. So let's test it out. So on the max 40 amp setting, you can see here the kilometers at the bottom are going up. Now keep in mind, you can trickle charge it, but I have it set to the maximum 40 amps, and there you can see 60 kilometers an hour is 37 miles per hour. That's the maximum on my Tesla, so it does really, really well. Now, I did a little bit of research on Amazon and I found a charger with the same rating, 40 amps, but it'll only do 30 miles. So not all chargers are created equal, and this watt savings does perform very well. I found the installation to be very easy. It performed flawlessly, and I just didn't have any headaches whatsoever. So 2 thumbs up for me.